10, I'm going to go over methods for sketching quadratic equations. I'm only going to do a couple of these. I need you to do or spend time doing them so you can work out what you're going to do. Now remember our 4 steps. Our 4 steps. And I'm just going to write them up here. Number 1. Is it positive or negative? So is it going to look like this, or is it going to look like this? Number 2, what's the y-intercept? Number 3, what's the vertex? And number 4, does it have roots? And can you find them? Righto. So here we go. Let's go with 7. We'll just start with 7a. And what do we got? Y equals 2x squared plus 8x minus 5. And straight away, I know that this is positive because that's, and also know my y-intercept is negative 5, so I know it has roots. But let's go through this. So it's a positive parabola. Its y-intercept is negative 5, so y int equals negative, is y equals negative 5, because that's where we say it crosses. So y equals negative 5. All right, let's find the vertex. The vertex, x equals minus b on 2a. Remember that comes from the quadratic formula. So that's minus 8 on 2 times 2, 4. So the vertex is x is equal to minus 2. And when x equals minus 2, what does y equal? 2 times negative 2. I'm just going to open up the answers so I can have them ready to go. Negative 2 squared plus 8 times negative 2 minus 5. And I'm going to get my calculator out. And I suggest you do the same. 2 times negative, that's going to be 4. 2 times 4, because negative 2 squared is 4, plus 8 times negative 2 minus 5, we get negative 13. So y equals negative 13. So there's my vertex, negative 2, negative 13. And we are going to now find the roots. We know there are roots because it's a positive parabola. We know the vertex goes below down to negative 13, or the y-intercept is negative 5. So we'll let y equals 0, and we'll get 0 equals 2x squared plus 8x minus 5. And I think to myself, well, 2 times minus 5 minus 10. Very quickly, can I factorise something that multiplies out to minus 10 and adds up to 8? I don't know if I can. The only factors of 10 are 2 and 5. So I don't think this one's going to work out really neatly, so I'm going to jump into the quadratic formula. So here we go. X equals minus 8 plus or minus the square root of b squared. That's 8 squared minus 4 times 2 times negative 5 over 2 times 2, which gives me minus 8 plus or minus the square root. Now I'm going to pump this out my calculator, and it's going to be 8 squared minus 4 times 2 times negative 5, 104, so root 104, and it's all over 4. So I'm going to get these two values, x equals negative 8 minus root 104 over 4, and x equals minus 8 plus root 104 over 4. Now he wants it to 2 decimal places. So I'll do this on my calculator. So I've got negative 8 minus root 104 over 4. We get negative 4.5, negative 4.5, negative 4.549. So I'm going to go to negative 4.55. And I'll just use my arrow back and change that minus to a plus. And I get x equals 0.549, so 0.55. And quickly checking this because I don't want to make a mistake in the first one. And non-B, non-C, non-D, non-E, question 7A. Yeah, there we go. So we're right. So now we need to sketch it. I'm going to do a freehand one. Can I try this? I'll try this. If it doesn't work, we'll see how we go shape. So I'm going to get myself and I knew how to do that, so I'll just take me back. Oh, don't make me go all the way back. There it is. Righto. So I'm just going to do a freehand one. So and I'm not that fussed as long as you're reasonably to scale. So what do we got? Negative 0.5. So I'll go about there. One with red. Thank you. 0.5. That should be 5 going to 2 decimal places. And over here, I've got negative 4.5. Negative 4.55. And down here, what was my x-intercept? Sorry, my y-intercept? Minus 5. I'm going to have to make this a little bit bigger because this goes all the way down to negative 12. So we'll put, what was it? Negative 5, so put it about there. Negative 5. And then we've got our vertex is negative 2 and 13. So make that about negative 13. It's not terribly to scale. There's negative 2. And my curve, therefore, there, and there. And there's my first parabola. That was a hard one, that first one. Have you got all the salient points? Oh, I better label the vertex. What is this? Negative 2, negative 13. So they're the steps you do. Let's have a look at another one. And now I'm going to try and get a negative one. I'm going to get a negative one that has a negative y-intercept, so I don't know whether it has roots. So I'm going to go 6D. So 6D. Not 6D. I'm doing 7. So I want a negative parabola with a negative. Oh, I'll go L. I'm going to go 7L. So over here, 7L. And what's it look like? Minus 5x minus 10 minus 4. So y equals minus 5x squared minus 10x minus 4. Was it minus 10x or plus? All right, so we're all negative. Now, it's a negative parabola. Right, so it's going to look like this. The y-intercept is negative 4. So y int is y equals negative 4. The vertex now. Remember, I'm doing those 4 steps. The vertex, x equals minus b, so minus minus 10 on 2a. 2 times minus 5. Well, that's going to be 10 on negative 10, which is negative 1. Okay, when x is negative 1, what does y equal? Well, y equals minus 5 times negative 1 squared minus 10 times negative 1 minus 4. And you do that on your calculator, and you're going to get negative 5 times negative 1 squared minus 10 times negative 1 minus 4. And I get 1. And the vertex is negative 1, 1. And now I know it has roots because the vertex has a positive number, which puts it above. But I'm going to find the roots anyway. So the roots. I'm going to let y equal 0. And what do I get? Well, I get 0 equals negative 5x squared minus 10x minus 4. Now I'm going to take everything over the other side just to make it a positive parabola. It doesn't change it. It hasn't made it a positive parabola because I'm just solving to find the roots here. And I quickly go, oh, is there anything that multiplies out to 20 and adds up to 10? Well, I don't think there is. I don't think there will be anything that adds up to 20. And no, I don't think so. I'm going to pump in the quadratic equation. Now, you could pump in the quadratic equation with these values for A, B, and C, or these values for A, B, and C. It won't make any difference. It won't make any difference. Because I reckon a lot of you will have done it with these values, I'll do it with these values, just so you know. So x equals minus b, so minus minus 10, plus or minus the square root of b squared, so minus 10 squared minus 4 times minus 5 times c minus 4 all over 2 times minus 5. And what do we get? Well, we get 10 plus or minus the square root. Now do this on your calculator. And it's going to be, because you've got 3 negatives there, so, and put your negative 10 in brackets when you square it, negative 10 squared minus 4 times negative 5 times negative 4, 20. And all I've got here is negative 10. Now, I could leave that as third, and I could try and, but it wants it to one decimal place. So I've got x equals 10 minus root 20 over minus 10. I've got x equals 10 plus root 20 over minus 10. So I get x equals, and I'm going to put this in the calculator now. So set a fraction, 10 minus root 20 over negative 10. And I get negative 5.55, so negative 0.55. And over here, if I just scroll back and change that negative to a plus, which is what I'm doing, I get negative 1.447, which gives me negative 1.45. All right, so now I have all the information I need to draw this. So, again, I'll draw up a set of an axis. Well, that's terrible, so I'll just fix it up. Oh, just as bad. I'm going to try this again. Oh, look at that. There we go, so we got it. So now, I can draw this. So, where was my y-intercept? My y-intercept is negative 4. So let's set up a scale here. So negative 4, let's make it about there. My root is 0.5. So, negative 0.5. Let me just get rid of that. Negative 0.5 puts it about there. Negative 1.45 puts it about there. I might move that 4. It's too close. Put it down here. Negative 4. That makes it better. And where's my vertex? negative 1 and 1. So if that's 1.4, I'll put negative 1 there and 1. It's about there. And here we go. Oh, it's a bit bad there at the end there. Let's fix it up. Put our arrows to indicate that it goes on forever. Label my points. So this is negative 1, 1. This is already labelled negative 4. This is, I'm going to have to draw an arrow here. This is negative 0.55. And this is negative 1. Is it 55 or 45? 45. Oh, I should have written the parabola. Y equals negative 5x squared minus 10x minus 4. And there's your parabola. All right, I'm going to do one more, and we'll see how we go. So they take a bit of time, and that's okay. So I've also asked you to do 8. And I think I'll jump in and do 8h. So here's 8h. And what do we got? Y equals 3x squared plus 4x plus 2. So y equals 3x squared plus 4x plus 2. All right, first of all, positive parabola. Y-intercept is y equals 2. The vertex, well, x equals minus b on 2a. Well, x equals minus 4 on 2 times 3. That's going to be minus 2/3. And what does y equal? Y equals 3 times minus 2/3 squared plus 4 times minus 2/3 plus 2. I'm going to have to do that on my calculator. So 3 times negative 2 over 3 squared plus 4 times negative 2/3 plus 2. And I get 2/3. Now, smart people amongst you are going, well, I don't need to go through anything else in finding the roots because I know there's no roots. Because the minimum y value is positive. The minimum y value is positive. But I'm going to do it anyway. But smart people have already worked out that if the vertex is minus 2/3 and 2/3, it doesn't have any roots. It's always positive. But let's just double check. Let's see what the discriminant is. The discriminant. Now remember, if the discriminant is less than 0, it doesn't have roots. It's minus b squared plus minus b squared minus 4ac. So it's not even minus b squared minus 4ac. 4ac. So 4 squared minus 4 times 3 times 2. Well, that's 16 minus 24. 4 3s 12, 24, which is negative 8. And negative 8 is less than 0, so unreal roots. But you knew that because you knew the vertex was positive. Well, now we've got enough information to draw it. In fact, finding a quadratic that doesn't have roots is much easier to draw. Will we try it again? Let's see if I can do it without stuffing it up. And here we go. Oh, there we go again. And we'll just move that up there. So, where's the y-intercept? 2. So we'll mark that in. 2. Where's the vertex? Minus 2/3 and 2/3. So we'll put minus 2/3 and 2/3. We'll put it about there. 2/3. And now we sketch it. Should really write in the vertex. Minus 2/3 and 2/3. We should write the name of the graph. Y equals, is it 3x squared plus 4x plus 2? Y equals 3x squared plus 4x plus 2. And that's it. Now, what have we done? We've done one that has positive and real roots, negative and real roots. I want to do one more. I'm going to jump in at 8b. So 8b. Let's have a look at it. Y equals 9x squared minus 6x plus 1. 8b. Y equals 9x squared minus 6x plus 1. Let's have a look at that, double check, make sure it's the right one. 9x squared minus 6x plus 1. Righto. It's positive, and the y int. Y equals 1. The vertex x equals minus 6 on 2 times 9, which is going to be a third. Now, when x equals a third, y equals 9 times a third squared minus 6 times a third plus 1. Put that in your calculator. 9 times a third squared. I'm going to put that in brackets. Minus 6 times a third plus 1. Oh, it equals 0. Oh, just give me a second, it's got into shape. Equals 0. Now, smart people amongst you are going, well, the vertex is a root. If the vertex is a root, they're double roots. They're double roots, but let's just check. Now, I could factorise that, but I'm just going straight to the discriminant. Discriminant equals minus b. Oh, God, I've done it again. I'm starting the whole quadratic formula. B squared minus 4ac, which is minus 6 squared minus 4 times 9 times 1. Oh, well, that's 36 minus 36. That's 0. So a double root, and we already have it because we found the vertex. It's a double root. So again, if you do this method, you'll find out whether or not it has roots or no roots really quickly when you find the vertex. So here we go. Do I try it again? Well, let's see. No, that didn't work. Come on, go back. Oh, don't make me go all the way back. Now I've got to scroll. There we go. All right, so let's go back here and get a double root. So into positive parabola. N, I'll make that 1. So a third is about there. What was the y-intercept again? 1. So my parabola is doing that. I should write the vertex as a third 0. I've got that y-intercept labelled in there, and I better label it y equals 9x squared minus 6x plus 1. Double check, is that right? And that's it. So, follow the 4 steps. Is it positive? Is it negative? What's a y-intercept? Where's the vertex? Does it have roots? And if can you find them? All right, good luck with that.